Live.
Welcome to the lounge, the 109th edition. Nathan Sacken on the phone because why the hell not? Charlie Hildebrand, David Schottenkirk on location, Phoenix, Arizona. Mr. Amon, welcome us. So what do you got for the hats? USD hat, it looks like. Go Twins! Look at this. We both got Twins hats. The baseball preview. Nathan Sacken, start us off. The big baseball preview. Who do you like in the West?
Which West? NL or AL?
Both of them.
NL, I like the Dodgers nearly over the Padres, and the AL, I like the Mariners over the Angels.
We'll hold you to that. Every year I'll start with you because you love this thing more than anybody. Why is this the greatest thing that man ever created, the NCAA Basketball Tournament?
Why not? It expands over 3 weeks. It is full of just tiers. This is accumulation of months and months of hard work through games and practices. Everyone gears up for this. You fill out a bracket. It involves everyone. Your office secretary fills it out. Anyone who doesn't know a damn thing about college basketball fills it out, and everyone watches these games. Or unfortunately, not as many people watch the games as I would like, but a lot of people do it. It gets the country all excited about college basketball for once a year. And you have all these schools participating, upsets. There's always Cinderella stories, teams you don't know about make strides. They win a game or two, and you're like, oh, this team's pretty good. Think about VCU a few years back, or Cornell a few years ago, make it to the Sweet 16. This is just the greatest time of the year, greatest sporting event known to mankind. I love it.
I take issue with you saying that all the teams have been working hard for so long when UCLA and other teams like them clearly have not looked like they've been working as hard as they could have been.
Texas.
Yeah, in Texas.
All right.
And probably Ohio State.
Most teams have been working really hard, Charlie. Most teams.
Certainly most of the others have. I will give you that. Minus those 5 or 6 that maybe shouldn't be in.
So you're going with the Rasheed Wallace. Both teams played hard, my man. Both teams played hard. Well, the bracket is set. Kentucky is the #1 overall seed. Has to be expected. The other 1 seeds will be Duke, Villanova, and Wisconsin. Apparently Wisconsin, regardless of the outcome of the game an hour or two ago versus Michigan State, was a 1 seed regardless. We'll start with Mr. Amon. Any quarrels with the seeds or teams that got in or teams that did not get in?
Well, we talked about Indiana and kind of a team like Ohio State. We're not big fans of them. We're not big fans of Oklahoma State, really. We don't really know how we feel about Texas. I kind of like Colorado State. Thought their RPI was good. They're a good team. I think they're a tournament-worthy team. But every year it's different guys picking these teams, and so it's always going to be kind of scattered, and a lot of times it doesn't seem like it's going to make sense. And so that's how you get some of these teams that get in. For me, I like all these 1 seeds. I kind of think all of them are going to get to at least the final 8, and then from there I think you'll have some pretty tough matchups. I feel like Gonzaga is going to beat Villanova right now in that regional final. But I think 2 of these 1 seeds I think are awesome. Wisconsin just doesn't make mistakes, and they're just good all around. So is there going to be is there going to be a 7 seed making the Final Four this year? I would say no way.
David, what did you have?
I think Drew said that Villanova over Gonzaga, they're not in the same region, so that wouldn't work out. But I get the drift there.
Who's the one in that region?
Villanova and Virginia, and Gonzaga and Duke.
Shit, I didn't look over the bracket before the show started.
It's all good. Yeah. The biggest things for me, Oklahoma being a 3 seed's an absolute crock of shit. You look at Georgetown, a 4 seed in the South, way too fucking high. Northern Ohio being a 5, it's a seed or 2 low for my liking. As far as the in or out, I could take it or leave it the way it broke down, the way it came in. I have a big issue with Dayton being the very last team in, according to the official seed line they just posted. They're playing a home game in that first 4, which is bullshit. They should have been much higher than they were. They're way better than the last team in. Purdue's way too high. Oklahoma State's way too high. There's seeding-wise, I have a lot of issues with the way the top 4 seeds in each of these regions broke down. Seem to be pretty even. I think Drew's right. I think this year's going to be pretty well chalked. I say it every year, but this year in particular, I see, personally, I had my Final Four selected for the last couple of weeks, depending on the matchups. If they didn't get matched up in the same region, I'd have the same 4 teams. And it turns out those 4 teams that I had selected are all in different regions. So this is going to be pretty easy bracket for me to fill out. Upsets-wise, there's going to be a few, but we'll see. That the Portland region with Utah, Georgetown, Stephen F. Austin, and Eastern Washington is a very interesting region to me. I've been in love with Utah, but Stephen F. Austin's the worst matchup they could have got.
Stack, and tell us how much you love Stephen F. Austin again.
Man, Stephen F. Austin, I love the Lumberjacks. I am going to take them over Utah. That is one of my 12-5 upsets. Thinking about maybe Wofford. I'm waffling a little bit on them.
You're waffling on Wofford, are you?
Yes, yep. But I like Stephen F. Austin a lot. This team is returning a lot of the same starters from last year. A good, solid squad. Utah, they struggle a little bit offensively, especially against good defensive teams. I think Stephen F. Austin gets them there. And I love Eastern Washington against Georgetown. Eastern Washington, remember, they beat Indiana in Indiana this year, gave them one of their only home losses on home court, maybe their only loss this year.
Indiana
so I like Eastern Washington and Stephen F. Austin to advance in out there in the South region. I also like, if we're just talking about double-digit seeds who have a chance at winning, I like Davidson to beat Iowa. I think that's going to be a pretty easy matchup there. Thinking about Buffalo over West Virginia. Maybe watch out for Valpo. And then the other one, I don't.
Why don't you just list off all the 12 or 13 seed and
okay, but if you want to, I'm not even gonna talk about Wyoming beating Northern Iowa because it ain't gonna happen. I think I'm gonna put Northern Iowa into the Final Four.
Whoa, balls on you.
Seth Davis just did on CBS, so you and him can go have.
I don't like what Seth Davis does. That makes me pause for concern a little bit. But I've really liked Northern Iowa for the last month or two here. I like what Seth Tuttle does. They run the offense through the big 7-footer, so I think they have a great chance to get out of that region because I think Villanova's a little overrated. Virginia, we'll see what they can do, but I like Northern Iowa.
That east region is definitely the most wide open for me.
Yep.
I look through all the way through the 7th seed in Michigan State. Honestly, none of those teams would completely stun me if they made a run to the Elite 8 or Final Four to that region. The other regions I can't say the same. In the South, there's only 3 teams I can see potentially getting out. The top 3 teams in that one. The West, I can only see maybe 4 potentially get out of that, and it's not barely 4. And then in the Midwest with Kentucky, they should breeze through that. And if they have a game decided by less than 10 before the Final Four, I'll be pretty surprised.
Charlie, anything get you excited that you can see?
A couple things. I think I said this last year around this time. My mom graduated from Wichita State, so I've always kind of liked Wichita State a little bit. I like the idea of Wichita State and Kansas playing in the second round in Omaha. I think that could be a pretty good game. It'd be fun. And then a sweet little hot take from Hot Take Hildebrand here. This is all irrelevant because Kentucky's going to win the whole thing. We're just delaying the inevitable.
Yes.
And it's too bad, like last year, that when they were playing in North Dallas, that we can't get the North Dallas 40-0 headline that Kriens wanted last season.
It's a shame. That was a once-in-a-lifetime deal.
I would like to go back to Charlie's point here about Wichita State and Kansas. Kansas doesn't want to play Wichita State in the regular season. They're scared of them. I think Wichita State is vastly underseeded here. They should have been a 4 or a 5. I think Northern Iowa could have been a 3 or 4. They were both very even throughout the entire year. I think Wichita State definitely has a shot to. I'd give them a greater than 50-50 shot at beating Kansas in the second round.
It seems like every commentator always talks about guards and how important having great guard play is. And I think Wichita State gets pretty good guard play. But so does Kansas. And so I think that should be a really fun second-round game.
But I think Fred VanVleet is better than anyone that Kansas has.
I think you're dead wrong on that. But Wayne, have you seen Wayne Selden in the last couple of weeks? He's been coming on strong. Kelly Oubre, freshman, coming on strong again. That'd be a hell of a game. I wouldn't be not so fast. Indiana's going to give Wichita a hell of a game. I'll tell you that right now. Yogi Ferrell's going to present them a lot of problems. If they hit any sort of shots, James Blackman from the outside. That's one game that'll probably be 3 o'clock on Wednesday morning. I'm still trying to decide who's going to win that one.
There you go. Drew, how's my Temple squad going to do?
I just think NIT, they're going to make a splash.
1 seed, baby. 1 seed in the NIT. Here we go.
I think them in Minnesota. That's your Final Four.
Wouldn't that be something? Traxler would be blowing us out, get another cut now, and that's in the Madison Square Garden.
We'll have to get through Nebraska if they want to get there. Preseason top 25 in Nebraska.
I want to go through a little mini portion here of the bracket talk.
Yes.
Where we go around in a circle and we predict how many points that Gonzaga will beat North Dakota State.
I like this idea.
I'll start.
Okay.
And I think they're going to lose. Gonzaga is going to win by 29 points.
28 points.
Okay, we got 29-28.
28. What the hell did I have?
You said 28. I said 29.
Yeah, you said 29. Okay. Charlie.
Side note, we'll probably be watching this game without my pants on, just for fun. And I'm predicting that the final score will be Gonzaga 88, North Dakota State 51. So 37-point beatdown.
7 points.
Wow.
Second.
I got 16
To
points.
be fair, I have not watched Gonzaga play this year at all.
I got
So I
Gonzaga.
only know him perfecto about the Gonzaga.
I got Gonzaga winning 66-50.
Really?
Yep.
David.
Gonzaga 81, North Dakota State 54.
So 27. 26. What, 27?
27.
Okay. Very good.
Well, beat down.
We'll get Marcus to start.
Yeah. I mean, just a terrible team. You think it's the worst team to win the Summit League in, what, 10 years?
Yes. Since that Oakland team with the upset.
In the playing game.
And they got in the playing game. Yep.
I would be curious to see, Kriens, this can be open to anyone in the group. Had SDSU won, where do you think they would have fallen on the seed line? Would they have been a 13?
No, they would have been a 14.
Well, I think what RPIs were because North Dakota State's RPI was in 130 for the longest damn time, and then in this last week it skyrocketed up to the top 100, and SDSU pretty much stayed the same in the mid-90s. So, maybe they would have been a 15 as well. I was always thinking.
Would you have put them above UC Irvine?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the RPIs here. I was just thinking because their RPI with North Dakota State's basically the same, I would just have slotted them in there. I don't know. Maybe they go to Omaha to play Kansas. I don't know.
The committee again with this bracket, some of these seating wise, whatever. The RPI is one of the most over talked about, overhyped things, and I'm a big fan of it because I think it does prove out to be pretty well spot on. My bracket, the one that I've been filling out on the blog for the last week, I've followed that quite distinctly as far as cheap purposes and whatever. What the committee said, F you, with a team of Colorado State getting left out. I think they had RPI of 29, and they didn't make the tournament at all. The committee is looking at other things. They're looking at road wins. They're looking at who you played and when. As much as they don't want to admit it, they looked at the last couple of weeks, injuries, and UCLA, the committee, Scott Barnes, I've got a major issue with a lot of things he did. The biggest thing was saying that UCLA played themselves in. They beat Washington State twice, and USC. How was that important your resume the last couple of weeks? I just do not get that at all. I don't really have that big an issue of them getting in, but they come up with a better reason than saying those 4 wins were the biggest reason, the biggest factor.
Because those teams that you mentioned are not good. So I would say Purdue is my biggest thing. I mean, you look at the projections, and you see they're getting in 8, 9, 10 seed. But if it was up to me, I mean, no, their RPI is 52, strength of schedule is 67, and this is not the 64 best teams that get into the tournament. It's the 48 or so best teams, and then it's those 13 through 16 seeds that make up the rest. So it's really like the 50 best teams make it, and Purdue's not a top 50 team. LSU, right, basically similar numbers that Purdue has, similar record. Strength of schedule's at 97, so that's not good. Ole Miss makes it. Indiana makes it. Those would be your 4 worst teams that make it as far as at-large bids. Those 2 SEC and 2 Big Ten schools.
Would you have put Murray State over Purdue?
Murray State's not in the discussion because the RPI and strength of schedule are just so far down. Just not even in the conversation.
25 games in a row.
Just for accuracy's sake here, the official seed line, the last 4 teams in were Ole Miss, BYU, Boise State, and Dayton. UCLA was not even in the last 4 in. They were the next team in front of Ole Miss. A team like Purdue was 36 on the seed line, and Dayton, the last team in, was 46. So Purdue was very safely in the field. I don't get that.
UCLA strength of schedule 29. That's the big thing that they've been talking about. They didn't beat anybody. They beat Utah and Oregon. Those are the 2 best wins. They beat Stanford twice. They lost to a bunch of good teams. 1 seed's Kentucky, 2 seed Gonzaga, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Arizona.
Kentucky,
twice.
who they only scored 7 points in the first half.
41-7. 41-7 the first half of the game. Get fucked.
So that was fun to watch there in Chicago. So they played a lot of good teams, kind of like Texas. They played a lot of good teams, but they didn't beat any of them. So it comes down to the argument of strength of schedule. You have to beat some of these teams. Drew, what do you look at here? You look at good wins, bad losses. What's the deal?
I think I get quality of wins. I guess is not just calling a win. I don't think is accurate. There's, Ohio State's pretty much based on the fact that a lot of their wins were double digits. That a lot of their losses were close. I think that's kind of how you make an evaluation on a team. I don't know how many of Texas's losses were really close or what. I just think how you win, how you lose, I think is it's just it's too much of a simplification to say you beat this team, lost to this team. Well, what happened? What time of the season was it? Was the other team have an injury? I mean, it's very complicated.
Charlie, when it comes to that sort of thing, what do you look for? Really good wins, home versus road, really bad losses. What do you put the most weight on?
I think there's a lot of stuff. I don't know if I have any one thing I put the biggest. I mean, if you're a power conference team or just one of the bigger conferences, I'd probably say what's your record against teams in the top 50? I mean, if we're looking at mid-majors getting in, then you might have to change that a little bit because they just don't get the same opportunity to play as many. But I'd probably say something like win your record against the top 50, and then how many of them were on the road. Like I know UCLA's best win was Utah, and but they won at home, which I mean I think we can all agree that it's tougher to win on the road than it is at home. And when your only quote unquote good win is just a solid okay win, and it's at home, that seems less impressive.
When it comes to Texas, they're at 20-13. RPI of 42, strength of schedule of 15. What I like to look at is your non-conference strength of schedule, especially with these higher conference teams, because, as Charlie said, the strength of schedule for the mid-majors, they don't get the opportunities. So I like to see who you scheduled in your non-conference, because everybody's conference is going to be pretty much the same. Texas's non-conference of 82, not bad compared to those like Indiana and Purdue and Ohio State, the teams that I don't like. None of the losses were all really that close. Kentucky, they lost by a dozen. Oklahoma, they lost 70-49. They lost to Oklahoma State twice. They beat Baylor once. I mean, they lose to all these teams by double digits, no more than 2-3 possession games. Their best wins are versus Baylor and West Virginia at home. They beat Iowa, your 3 tournament teams. So They played a lot of good teams. They beat maybe one or two of them. That's about it. Yeah. Let's start moving this. Yeah, that's.
By the way, 50 points in that game, so right on par for their season.
A great squad that averaged fewer than 60 points a game and won the conference tournament. Just a tremendous performance, squeaking by each and every game against stellar competition. Bruce said Colorado State, his hometown team, RPI 29, not in. Best RPI out of any team that did not get in. Dayton at 28, last team in. And my Temple squad, 34 RPI. They did not get in either. So I have a problem with Purdue. Marcus isn't there to argue with me. I don't know anybody. I just don't understand Purdue. You look at the numbers. There's nothing there.
It's just another fact that the committee, the power conference schools this year, you look at the Pac-12, the Big East, the Big 12, all Big 10, they took into stock, just like you said about Texas. If you beat a couple of really good teams, one or two, and you stay close, and all the other big power conference teams, you're going to get rewarded. I don't necessarily like it, but I get it. You look at a team like Oklahoma. Again, we go back to them. A 3 seed with 10 losses, but most of those games are close. They have several good wins. It's an overseed for me. They should probably be about a 5, but that is, again, teams from Murray State had no chance. Now we look at the numbers that they broke down, the way they set it up. Yeah. I thought in my last one I had them as one of the 5th team on the outside looking in. I thought there was a small chance, a sliver of chance that they might get in. It's because the heartbreaking loss to Belmont in the LVC title game. Win 28 games or whatever they did. Very good team. They're going to be a team that's going to have to be reckoned with in the NIT. But you go Texas, even a team like Ole Miss. I was kind of surprised Ole Miss got it. And they definitely, the power conference, the theme of this year is that they went back to the grassroots and they went back to the power conferences. I'll throw out a conspiracy theory here too. A team like UCLA, as much as they don't want to admit it, the money comes in. That's a named school. That's a big fan base. That's loyal. Putting them in will give you a potential if they win a game. And think about it: UCLA versus Murray State. Who are more people going to tune in to watch? Even though Murray State might be a trendy sleeper pick or an upset pick, no, people want to see UCLA because they recognize the team. I don't like it, but it is what it is.
Well, let's do a quick straw poll. I mean, and we don't need you can get more than one answer, but can we get some kind of consensus on the team that got in that we most think should not have gotten in? I would probably say either UCLA or Purdue.
I'm Purdue. Purdue and Indiana are my 2 teams.
You just hate the Big Ten.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a very good year for the Big Ten.
Much.
And I think Temple should have got in. Colorado State, I'm fine. I mean, if they're in, that's fine. But those 2 teams, no. Purdue especially. Indiana has a couple of good wins. Purdue doesn't have any. No.
Yeah, I think Purdue would be my pick and sub in Colorado State or Temple. I'm kind of with Travis on that one.
And then
I'll take out. Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to go off the board and take 2 SEC teams, Ole Miss and Georgia. One of those teams shouldn't have been in the tournament. Georgia's a team we haven't talked about. That's, again, Colorado State definitely deserves to be in over Georgia.
What about Sack, and what do you got?
Well, I like the Ole Miss pick there by David, but I'm going to go with UCLA and Texas. I just don't think either of them did enough when it mattered, especially in conference play, to pass the test. I would have put in a Temple, and I'm gonna stick with Murray State. Just
Damn you!
I think they should have gotten in, even though they lost. They lost on a last-second shot. It's not like they lost by 20 in the OVC championship game. If they had, then I'm not even gonna quibble about it. They shouldn't be in regardless. But they lost on a last-second shot. I put them in. Their RPI is 62. I know we say that the RPI doesn't really matter, but it's really how you're playing. I think some of what the committee looks at is how you're playing leading up into the tournament. And what they had said, they had won, 25 in a row? Come on.
Strength of schedule, 253 out of 350. That's no good.
No, and I get why they didn't get in, but I also think that is a factor that the committee looked at. Because you heard what the Utah State athletic director said is that UCLA was playing good as of late, and that's why they got in. Well, apparently what Murray State does is of little consequence to their overall bid to get in.
It sounds like UCLA and Purdue are the two teams that we as a whole would have the biggest problem with. Would anyone think differently if they were one of the last four in and were one of the play-in games
It'd be
instead
better.
of solidly in?
It'd be better. I mean, Purdue. I listened to whatever I listened to in the last hour, and nobody mentioned Purdue, but we've talked about Purdue quite a bit here. UCLA seems to be the big team nationally that is getting a lot of talk about why they're in. I guess I kind of, last couple hours before the bracket was released, I went through and kind of made up my own deal, what I would do, not what I think they're going to do, but what I would do. And I had UCLA there as, I think, the sixth to last team in, just because their strength of schedule was top 30 and they did win 20 games. So I had them as an 11 seed, not in the play-in game. I had Purdue and Indiana out. And so I had Oklahoma State and Ohio State in the play-in, as well as Boise State and LSU in a play-in situation. So, yeah, Murray State, I mean, they're obviously just not good enough.
Right.
5 losses, I mean.
You can't beat the the Austin Peays and the Tennessee Martins of the world for 2.5 months.
No. I mean, if you have 3 losses, you probably get in 5.
Or maybe you don't lose to Xavier and Valparaiso by.
Those are good losses. Those are good losses. I mean, they got their doors blown off by
But I'm saying if you kept it close with them, I think that would have helped it a little bit.
That couldn't have hurt. That couldn't have hurt. They lost to Houston, 239 RPI.
Ouch.
The Belmont lost at 105 and Portland at 142. If you take away those Portland and Houston losses, you lost both of those games by 3 points each. I think Murray State probably gets in if they win those 2 games.
And I think there's a lot of discussion overall, as David mentioned too, with all the power conferences getting some of the latest or the last bids in there because they're more recognizable names. And I think you heard about that on the selection show on CBS. The guys are saying
it's not even just the last bid; it's the seeding too.
Well, yeah.
Georgetown,
overall,
for Christ's sake. Georgetown.
Yeah, overall,
Yeah,
but I think this needs to generate more of a discussion amongst the committee and maybe the NCAA schools in general about how the selection process is determined.
82-team tournament. 82-team tournament. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yep.
I would say with the SEC point that David made, Georgia, Ole Miss, LSU, a lot of the same numbers here. Georgia, about 15, 20 spots better RPI, strength of schedule-wise, although the other 2 schools have better wins.
Yeah, LSU winning Arkansas and West Virginia. A 9 seed is a little bit high for my liking, but those 2 road wins went a lot into that.
And they lost to Kentucky by 2.
Yeah, exactly. That 8-9 game, I know Kriens isn't a very big fan of Villanova. You look at NC State or LSU in that second round, that's going to be awfully tempting for you.
Yeah, this is tough for me because I try to look at, okay, I like Duke, I like Wisconsin, I like Kentucky, probably take them away. If Iowa State would have been in Villanova's region, Iowa State's going to the Final Four is what I would have picked.
They have to learn to actually play in the first half. That would help them. At some point, it's going to come back to haunt them.
That's fine.
I think you got to have the ones winning 2 games. That happens about 90% of the time.
Yep.
It's tough for 8 or 9 to knock off the 1.
Question for later in the show. Do you want the Cinderella pick of the show? Do you want 8 seeds or worse? Would that qualify? As far as winning,
9 seeds or worse.
9 seeds. Okay.
There's 1 8 seed I keep my eye on that I'll reveal later on, but there's 1 8 seed that I don't think will be necessarily Cinderella. But.
9 seeds or worse. Cinderella means you win Elite 8. Is that too far?
That sounds about right to me.
Okay.
I always think of a Cinderella going to the Sweet 16, but I'm fine with Elite 8. Either way is fine.
So 9 seed or worse, win at least 2 games, maybe even 3. Think about that for a while. We'll start in the East. In my opinion, the worst / most unpredictable and wide open. section of your bracket. Villanova, you're 1. Virginia, you're 2. I had a problem with that. I would have switched the 2, but it sounds like your worst 1, your best 2 seed there. 3 seed Oklahoma, everybody think that's a bit too high. Louisville, your 4 seed, possibly a bit too high, not playing very well. And Stacken's favorite, the Panthers, at a 5 seed. So Stacken, you're going to go with your purple guys here. Is this right?
This is tough. It's a determination between Northern Iowa and Virginia. I think if Virginia is fully healthy, they are the better team. But what the hell? I'll go with Northern Iowa in the Final Four here.
Okay. Another conspiracies theory. I look at these 5 and 12 matchups all around the board. All of the 5s are big-time programs in big-time conferences. All the 12 seeds are mid-majors, except for this region, Wyoming and Northern Iowa. Do you buy the fact that maybe they should have put in a different 12 seed in there for Northern Iowa to play?
Nah, are you talking to me or the group in general?
Talking to everybody. Whoever. Stacken's part of the group, so you can answer, Stacken.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, it appears to me out of all the 12 seeds that Wyoming's the weakest of the bunch, and out of the 5 seeds, I would say clearly Northern Iowa's the favorite of the bunch. So, if you want to put it that way, then I think that matchup is set in stone and good. I would maybe have put one of the Power 5 conference teams like a UCLA or Texas or someone along that 12 line to make it a little more interesting. But yeah, I guess I really don't have too much of a problem with it.
I'm not a big fan of these kind of mid-majors who struggle to score. So these teams like Wyoming,
Georgia State?
San Dakota State.
Yep.
The San Dakota State Jack Tex.
they although they could beat St. John's, but anyway. Teams like that I don't like. I usually will figure out who those teams are and then not give them much success in the tournament. But anyway, so basically what I'm saying is I don't think Wyoming's good at all.
Alert everybody of your 50-point rule in college basketball. For those who are not aware, what is your rule and what should happen?
Yeah, the rule is if neither team in the game scores 50 points in regulation or overall or not regulation, that you have to play the game over right away as soon as it's over.
Sun Belt would still be going on then.
Yep, I know it. There'd be a lot of games that might still be going on, and that's too bad, but that's just the way it's got to be.
Wipe the stats clean, start over.
No, the individual stats carry over.
Oh, okay. I like that.
But you start at 0. You start at 0.
Start at 0. Yeah.
Charlie, what would you do now if you have a situation like we had this afternoon, this morning? Georgia State and Georgia Southern neither get over 40 points. I
just combined your two guys' ideas, where all players and coaches are arrested and have to spend a week in prison. Still have to replay the game. Both head coaches get their legs broken because you can't do that because this is Division I men's basketball. It's for real. So the head coaches you still have to play the game again. So the head coach has a broken leg, is out there yelling at refs, with crutches, trying to stand upright, while the players are playing knowing that they're just going to go straight from the game to the prison yard. And if they don't get to at least 50, because you have to get to at least, combined with Drew's rule, you got to get to at least 50, one of the teams, for it to count. If you don't get to 50 and have to play it again, each time it doubles your prison sentence.
Good.
So if you go 5 times in a row, that goes from 1 week to 2 weeks to 4 weeks to 8 weeks to 16 weeks in prison then. That's a long time.
Well, Ron Hunter did tear his Achilles tendon, so there is that for Georgia State.
That was where the broken leg thing came in, yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't score a point a minute, I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we need to shame these teams.
That's embarrassing. Here's what you do to shame these teams. If you are both teams, if you do not score 40 points, you have to go to the SWAC.
Sure.
I can't think of a worst penalty.
That's rough.
That's the worst.
About it.
Drew, East.
And then once you get
Yes.
knocked out, you have to then your school's in charge of running all the live stats for every conference tournament game
Jeez.
after that too.
At the SWAC. Very good. Drew, in the East. Who do you like in the East? Do you like Villanova?
Well, I did not like Villanova facing Gonzaga, although that cannot happen until the Final Four. You know, I kind of think right now my instinct says Villanova's the 1-1 seed that's going to have some trouble if perhaps Virginia makes it all the way down to the regional final, which is not a given. I think, I mean, yeah, I get why Stacken likes Northern Iowa a lot, and I think that's going to be a really good game. You know, I don't know. Right now, I'm leaning towards Virginia. They're kind of a frustrating team to watch, just because they. I mean, if you respect good defense, which I mean I do to a point, and they're experienced, going to be more experienced than Villanova. I'm leaning towards Virginia out of that region. That obviously can change.
My sleeper is coming out of this. I'll spoil it for everybody. Dayton goes to the Sweet 16.
Hello.
11 seed Dayton takes care of Boise, takes care of the Friars, takes care of Oklahoma. Let's get it done.
I like it.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Dayton again. The Elite Eight last year, which I completely forgot about 2 weeks ago. Lost to Florida in the Elite Eight. So Dayton is my pick. Any other picks here? David, this is a wide open region, which is why I'm going with a 11 seed. Very rare to make the Sweet 16. You like Villanova? Who comes out of this East?
Yeah, for me, it comes down to two teams. There will be a few upsets. I'm looking out for an upset in the first round. UC Irvine could give Louisville one heck of a run for the money, and I might pick that in my bracket, to be honest with you, because I don't see Louisville winning that second game regardless. But my Elite Eight and Final Four of that will be Villanova versus Oklahoma. I've been bashing on Oklahoma as much as anybody can, but that sets up for them potential second matchup against Dayton squad or Providence. I don't think they're having any issue. Virginia's been struggling big time. I was really hot on them earlier in the year. Injuries, if Justin Anderson gets going, that's another team that I could see making a Final Four run. I don't see that happening. I'll take Villanova with a pretty good degree of confidence that they're going to make the Final Four.
I do like Archie Diacomo. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't have anyone lower than a 4 seed in the Final Four, and I've got 2-seeded Virginia coming out of the East.
Michigan State scares me. They're
A
doing
lot.
it again. They're doing it again.
Michigan State scares the hell out of me if I'm picking Virginia, and thankfully I'm not.
Very scary. So you head down to the other side. The winner of the East will play the where the hell are we at here? Winner of the East?
Winner of the South.
Winner of the South. It's just like the Civil War, the East versus the South, just like they drew it up. Duke, heavy favorite, probably the second biggest favorite in this tournament. We ended with Charlie. We'll start with Charlie. Gonzaga, the 2 seed. Iowa State, really like them, the 3 seed.
Like I said, I've got Gonzaga smashing North Dakota State, but losing to Iowa State in the Sweet 16, and then I've got Duke beating Iowa State in the Elite Eight to go to the Final Four. So I got Duke and Virginia in the Final Four. On the depending on how your bracket's set up. For mine, it is the right half of the bracket.
Yes, it is. As is mine.
I'm probably going Duke, Kentucky for your title game. So I don't think Duke's going to have too much of an issue.
No.
I liked Gonzaga when I thought they were in Villanova's region about a half hour ago. I don't like them as much anymore. Stone Cold Stephen F. Austin, I tell you.
You jumping?
There might be a couple wins there. There might be a couple wins in that the Lumberjacks.
That might be your pick.
Might be.
Spoiler alert, I'm taking Davidson to the Sweet 16. They're going to beat Iowa and they're going to beat Gonzaga. Go to hell, Gonzaga. Davidson, A10, represent. Stacking. Charles.
Are we doing our Cinderellas when we're in that region, or do we do our Cinderellas later?
You're going to do them later, but I'm spoiling the whole thing. I'm going out of order here. So.
I want to hear what Dave has in reply to that Gonzaga comment, because he's been on Gonzaga all year.
Yep, and I'm still on. I'm all taking Gonzaga to the Final Four.
I'm taking Davidson because I got Iowa State beating whoever they play in the Sweet 16.
For me, whoever wins Gonzaga, Iowa State, I think either one of those teams beats Duke. I don't see Duke in the Final Four. Sure.
No Duke for you, okay?
To me, I think there's how many teams could beat Kentucky? Is there maybe 3 of them? I think Duke's one of them.
Duke, Wisconsin?
There's one team, and unfortunately, they're going to, if they match up, it won't be in the title game. It'll be in the first game of the Final Four. It's not Wisconsin. I'll spoil it. It's Arizona.
Arizona could, yeah.
So what is the number?
But either way, I mean, we're debating whether there's 3 or there's 6 teams that could beat Kentucky. There's not very many.
No.
Drew, give me your list. Kentucky team. If Kentucky loses, they will lose to one of these teams.
I mean, Duke is the one for me that stands out, and then I like Schottenkirk said Arizona. I like them a lot, and then Wisconsin.
That's it.
That's it. I think that's it. Absolutely.
3 teams. Okay. Anybody else wanting to add to that list?
I would like to add Virginia if they can somehow get the wheels back on the wagon.
Healthy. Okay. So 3 teams. That's it. That's your list. Okay.
Yep.
Butler. Let's see if Butler could make another run here.
Butler did it.
Butler, Kentucky.
Butler.
Yeah. Oh, we got Duke. Have your favorite stack, and what did you have for the South?
Well, I think I'm picking Duke out of this one. I would like to take Iowa State, but they have to play a full 40 minutes. They can't keep coming back from double-digit deficits.
I think if they play UAB and SM,
Well, they couldn't the first 2 rounds.
They can. I think they walk to the Sweet 16, but can they beat Gonzaga? I don't know. Yeah. That's going to be tough. I think they will, but they can't fall behind double digits against Duke and expect to win. I'm leaning towards Duke out of the South.
Any love for Southern Methodist?
No. Well, they'll crush UCLA.
Yeah.
Gonzaga is plenty good, but if they make the Elite Eight, it would be only the second time they've ever made it that far. They made it to the Elite Eight that one year in the late 90s, and have not ever made it back that far again.
Yeah.
But this certainly seems like a year it could happen, though.
A lot of people have been saying for a number of years that every year, this is Gonzaga's best team. This is Gonzaga's best team. I'm telling you what, right now, this is Gonzaga's best ever team, regardless of what they do in the tournament.
Gonzaga, show me something. Marcus Traxler, we welcome you to the program.
Hello.
Hello from Mitchell. How's the corn?
It's out of the ground.
They in the fields yet up there?
Yeah.
They in the fields? March 15th?
No, you're not in the fields.
So you're saying the ground is still frozen?
No, it's pretty mushy.
Pretty mushy. There's a fire danger.
There's always farmers who like to get in at the end of March. I don't understand those people.
Wait.
Yep.
We've gone through the half of the bracket here, Mr. Traxler. If you have something printed out or something on the computer, we've gone through the East and the South. Who do you like in the East?
First we gotta say how much do you think Gonzaga is going to beat North Dakota State by?
There we go.
Put me down for 36 points.
Oh, that's about what I said. I think I said 37.
Yes,
so Marcus and I have the 2 biggest Gonzaga blowouts.
Want it to be more, very well could be less, but that's what I think.
Bob Barker rules. If you go over, it doesn't count. Is this right?
Yep.
Well, Nathan Stack and the low man at 16.
Yep. That's why I picked him.
It's not bad. The East, Mr. Traxler, your Nova squad up there. Who are they beating?
You'll have to excuse me because I have not fully digested this bracket.
Well, stacking's hard for Northern Iowa, so.
No, that's Villanova. Feels Virginia? Like he's going to be. I hope we get Villanova, Virginia, in the Elite Eight, and you can give me Villanova. I mean, this is a really good team. I think we're just biased.
Their conference is not the best.
No, it's not. It's not the old Big East, but it's all. This isn't also the Villanova of old that Mr. Stacken, along with Georgetown, just likes to throw in the trash the second he's seen. So
Florida Gulf Coast.
I am being unbiased when I'm saying that Northern Iowa is going to beat Villanova. I've watched a couple of Villanova games. I like this Archie Diacomo character.
turn that fan off. It's distracting.
What?
That fan.
It's distracting. It's better. At least he's not ensconced in yellow light, for God's sake.
This one right here. Oh, okay.
No,
It's fine. It's fine.
done.
It's fine. But I would say the Big East and the A10. Let's ball it up. Let's see what you got. See what you got.
In this heated discussion.
Vice Commissioner of the A10. Big fan. Big goddamn fan.
What seed is Temple if they're in the A10 still?
They're what? 17.
4.
Goddamn right.
They're probably 4 seed. Yeah. So you like Villanova. We all agree that this is probably the most unpredictable region because Virginia's got injuries. Villanova, show me something.
This feels pretty predictable.
Really, compared to the other three, with Duke, Wisconsin, and Kentucky. Because you look at Oklahoma, everybody thinks Oklahoma's a bit high. Louisville not playing well. Northern Iowa,
yeah, even more reason to like the 1 and 2 seeds in this region. Now, it very well could just blow to hell, but I think your two teams that start with V, they're going to be in the Elite Eight.
Michigan State? Yeah.
UV versus VU.
Yeah.
Put Michigan State against pretty much any other team here, and I like them, but I really do like Virginia's lockdown defense. We've talked about that on the show before, and yeah.
We'll go to the South here for Marcus to catch up. Come up with a 9 seed or worse to win at least 2 games, maybe even 3 games. I've given 2 already, which I've upset everybody with. I like Dayton to win 2 games, reach the Sweet 16 again in the East. And you move down to the South. I like Davidson to knock off Gonzaga to reach the Sweet 16 as well. So we head down to the South. Duke, a big favorite there. Gonzaga, the weakest of the 2 seeds. Maybe. Marcus.
Am I picking? I'm supposed to pick a 9, or
am I just? This is for later in the show. Think about that later in the show. Now you're picking the South. Duke. Duke seems to have a pretty goddamn easy way here to the regional final.
I don't know about you, but when I looked at I've proclaimed that Villanova has changed. Okay. I don't believe that Georgetown has changed, and so I see this Eastern Washington game, and I go, that looks like an L.
That's why
I heard Drew say
like at Boston.
I heard you say Florida Gulf Coast. Georgetown got beat by Florida Gulf Coast, not Villanova.
I know.
Okay, all right. So that seems. I don't like Georgetown. I do like Utah. Let's see them and Duke do a thing in the Sweet 16. I'm not impressed by San Diego State or St. John's. I think UCLA is a good ball club. I think they deserve to be in the field. I think we're going to see Iowa State, Duke in the Elite Eight. I think Duke, though, I've been on Duke all year, is being good, even though I hate their school. So I'll say Duke leads this region.
So Marcus essentially has the same South as I do then, with Duke over Iowa State in the Elite Eight.
As do I. I like that as well.
I mean, I agree that this is probably Gonzaga's best team ever. I think they had Adam Morrison, who was a really good college player, and that team never made the Elite Eight. And I don't know. I just look at Iowa State, and I'm like, Iowa State's good enough to beat Gonzaga. I'm not going to pick Gonzaga right now because I like Iowa State more. Go Cyclones.
Well, when the bracket sets up, you got to play an A10 school in the second round. Good Lord. Oh, good Lord. A10.
Come on.
Only me and Shoddy like Duke and Gonzaga in this region, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Boy.
West Coast bias. It's the altitude. I believe the altitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're in Denver. He's out in the desert. So.
Well, for the record, Traxler, just for you, I did pick Gonzaga to make the Final Four. So.
Well, and that's fine. I think if they can beat Iowa State, They can at least
That's what I said. Is that whoever wins that game, if Iowa State beats Gonzaga, I'll take Iowa State over Duke. I do not think Duke's make the Final Four, no matter who they play of those two teams. I just don't see it. I think they're flawed defensively. They're absolutely flawed defensively. One hot shooting team, Iowa State, Gonzaga, both high-powered teams. One of them's going to catch them on a bad night. Oklahoma get in foul trouble. They're fucked with their short bench.
I know that these conference tournament, there is no correlation between these conference tournaments and the NCAA tournament. Our favorite blog, 538, looked at that this week. But I think that if Duke was going to be the team that we think they are, I kind of hope that they are. I think they would have had a better showing than they had this weekend in the ACC tournament. But for now, I just look at the talent that's on their roster, and it's hard to pick against them.
Dan Dickau, look out.
I know Kriens mentioned earlier surprising things that we had forgotten about from last year. I was checking something. I forgot that Duke lost in the first round last year. I'd completely forgotten about that until yesterday.
Well, you got Lehigh a few years ago.
15 seed, or was it?
Yep.
Yeah, both Duke and Missouri as 2 seeds lost on the same day.
Dance, Mercer, dance.
I look at Duke, Iowa State, points aplenty if that happens. Points up the ass if that happens. I look at Duke and Kentucky. No, I don't see any challengers to the regional final for those two schools. Because, this Georgetown charade, Utah just completely falling off the table here. Not good.
This seems like a place to say, Utah, show me something.
No, no. I use what the hell? I use my show me something up on Gonzaga. No.
Why don't you get one per region and use it on Gonzaga in this region?
I did. And I'll use it on Villanova up in the east.
Yeah.
We go to the Midwest. Start with Stack in here. Kentucky's winning this one. This bottom half is very interesting to me.
Very interesting.
Kansas, I don't know if you know this, but they've been upset a time or two in the
have they? Was it a Bucknell squad or
yes.
Ari from Rokmanesh? Is that who it is?
It's been all of them.
No, it has. Okay, all right.
Kansas didn't go very far last year either, did they?
I lost
Maybe I'm getting the mouse here mixed up with a different year.
Yeah. Kansas lost to Stanford last year, so I like Kentucky to breeze through this tournament or breeze through to the Final Four. They will meet up with Notre Dame in the Elite Eight. Notre Dame's going to give them a run for their money just because of their ability to knock down the shots from beyond the arc, but I like Kentucky to advance. I'm wavering on taking Wichita State over Kansas in the round of 32. Still debating on that, but regardless, it's Notre Dame against Kentucky in the Elite Eight.
Okay. Anybody see it differently? David, do you see it differently?
Well, here's my shot in the dark. We'll go with it because that was going to be my pick. Just for fun's sake, I'll take the rematch Kentucky-Wichita State. Kentucky.
Whoa, that'd be
like it.
fun.
I like it.
Wow, that's good.
Marcus.
I look at the winner of Wichita State, Indiana being in the Sweet 16. I think both have the potential of beating Kansas or New Mexico State if New Mexico State were to win.
Whoa.
And I do like Maryland. I think they go to the Sweet 16, but I just don't see any way that they're going to be able to beat Kentucky. So I'm going to say Kentucky, and I'm going to say that they top Notre Dame in the regional final.
I like Wichita State too. I think that might be my second favorite team in this region. I think they can beat a flawed Kansas team. That's for damn sure. Indiana, go to hell. Not a fan of Notre Dame really at all. Butler, Texas, neither of those teams do much for me. Maryland's okay, but I kind of like Valpo. I'm leaning towards stealing Schottenkirk here with Wichita State, Kentucky in that regional final.
I feel bad. I thought I was going to be original with some of this stuff, but it's going to sound more like a broken record. I think Maryland is a good team, but they just have the unfortunate seeding of being a 4 seed in Kentucky's region. I like Wichita State to beat Kansas. I'm lumping Notre Dame in with Georgetown. I'm not putting faith in Notre Dame or Georgetown ever in NCAA tournaments in March until they do something to show me again anytime soon. I've got Kentucky over Wichita State in the Elite Eight.
The one thing about Notre Dame that's interesting, I think they have a very good matchup with Kentucky because they aren't going to try and go inside a lot. They're going to try and beat Kentucky from around the arc. So I think that actually bodes well in their favor. They aren't going to try and go inside against that length.
What about West Virginia?
They try to shoot over that length.
Yeah.
They can do that too.
What about West Virginia and their pressing defense? Something different.
No, Buffalo will take them.
No, Bob Huggins get pissed off real bad. No? Okay.
No, I like Buffalo.
You like Buffalo? I mean, but nobody's talked about
South
Buffalo.
Dakota High School, they've got the Spirit of Six award, maybe for March Madness. We should have like the it's a different sport, but like the Spirit of Woody Hayes award for the coach that yells and screams the most and looks the most angry. And Bob Huggins could certainly win that. I don't know if he would. I mean, there's a lot of contenders, but he would. He'd be one of the 5 or 10 guys with a good shot at getting that.
He'd be a favorite. He'd be a top 5 guy. Butler, I want to get on the wagon again. Butler.
I'll spoil my 9 seed or lower right now and go.
What do we got?
I'm on this bandwagon with Wichita, so I'm going to go Texas versus Wichita in Sweet 16.
Ah, Texas. God damn it.
That's a good pick.
That's a very good pick.
Pure talent-wise, Texas is probably the top 10 in the country. It's just a matter if they can put it together for a couple games in a row. Which I think they can. Obviously, Butler, we'll see. Yeah, if they do advance, I really like them in the matchup against Notre Dame in the second round.
To me, this is the Texas team that we've always known. And
they're not very good.
I mean, they always should be better than they are.
Rick
They're sort of good, but they're sort of not playing up to their potential, like Kentucky last year until tournament time.
Yeah. We head out west.
I have a question. I
have an answer.
As part of the 3 or 4 days you get here with the bracket.
Yeah.
I reserve the right to just change all these picks tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I filled out my bracket in literally 3 minutes while the show was going on here online.
You're crazy. You're crazy, Kriens.
Oh no! I might switch a couple here or there, but
Is this the one you're submitting to the Tourney Bracket Challenge?
Absolutely. I only do one.
Okay. I didn't know if you would fill it out on like an ESPN site.
Well, yeah, I do. This is
Okay.
I am on
Regardless.
ESPN.
Okay.
The Sports Lounge. We'll have our 12 guys in there. The Sports Lounge.
Is there the Dave Denham group already?
Dave Denham group, whatever. We'll create that here shortly.
Good.
And this is in that, and then I'll print out a blank one and fill it out like I always do in old-fashioned ink.
I think I got my bracket name, so that's good.
That's good.
That's the first step for me.
Would you like to share?
I think I might go with shirtless Spurriers.
I like it.
Good.
Anyway.
Good. How about this? How about Mick Gary's jacket? Mick Gary's jacket.
That's not bad.
That's a possibility.
Just throwing that out there.
You watch that game from Tuesday night. He lights up like he's a Christmas tree, decked out in blue.
That Argus leader blue.
Pops. We head to the West. Wisconsin apparently was a 1 seed regardless of outcome when the outcome looked in doubt. Down double digits late in the second half to Michigan State. They're the 1 seed. Arizona's the 2 seed. The 3 seed is Baylor. And the 4 seed is North Carolina. We'll start with Mr. Amon. Anybody but Wisconsin or Arizona coming out of this West region?
No, it's not going to happen. I have a feeling that you're going to be big on Virginia Commonwealth beating Arizona.
Nope.
I am not a big fan of. I think Arkansas is pretty good. I think
A10.
Right. Yeah.
Continue.
North Carolina is going to beat the shit out of Harvard. I'm sorry, the Ivy League is just not going to have a win this year.
Amaker trash.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I think Arkansas can get past Carolina and then lose to Wisconsin. I really like Arizona a lot. They might be like my fourth favorite team in this whole tournament. So it's going to really come. I'm going to go back and forth on Wisconsin and Arizona, kind of this whole tournament, and I think that's the matchup there in the final.
Any problems there? Wisconsin, Arkansas. That's a lot of goddamn red.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully they let them play color on color. I'm always a fan of those games. So let's just get two teams in red and see what the hell happens.
Charlie.
And then have their mascots fight each other, because that might be interesting, albeit illegal.
How about
I was going to mention Midwest bracket. When we were talking about Kansas briefly, I was going to say, who did Kansas get their asses kicked against? Who kicked Kansas's ass, Travis?
When?
Kentucky?
This season.
This season?
Yeah.
Kansas?
Kentucky.
Temple.
Kentucky the fuck out of them.
Temple beat the hell out of their big win.
Yep.
They beat Cincinnati and they beat Kansas.
God damn it. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The A10 you are. Can't even name off their best wins.
One of these, goddamn you, one of these.
Those are your
I like the Tara Heiser pose.
Boom! Look at that. He knows what the fuck up. He knows what's up. Good job.
garbage.
I'll show you the pictures.
You look like Coob.
I look like Coob
Yeah.
doing this.
With your shaved face.
He doesn't.
Like beard.
I'll have a full beard by the time the 16th.
Look at him. He looks like Coob. Look at his face.
You look like the head coach of like a 9B school.
The Lady Midgets.
Make sure you guys drink plenty of water. This way we can keep that press going.
Yo, I'm coaching the 7th place game. Let's go. 4 corners. Charlie, he has a beard going on. What's Jesus Christ? I mean, this of all the regions, this West seems to be the one where the fewest upsets. Charlie, would you tend to agree with that?
Yep. And that's where I'm going to make my error of saying I have a 1 seed, a 1 seed, and a 2 seed. So clearly I got to do something different to shake it up, and this will probably come back to bite me around the Sweet 16. I'm going to have North Carolina beating Arizona in the Elite Eight to go to the Final Four.
Wow, look at that. I believe that's David clapping.
Part of it might be that I really don't like Wisconsin at all, and sometimes my bias against the Badgers comes back to bite me, and that'll probably happen this year.
I love that pick. I don't see Wisconsin getting out. I have the reverse of that. I have Arizona over North Carolina in the Elite Eight.
Okay. Stacking with North Carolina as a team, a lot of good, a lot of bad. They've been up and down. A lot of good games they've played. A lot of the Duke games close. They've lost both of them.
They're playing their best basketball right now. I think Harvard's going to give them a scare, and if they don't lose to Harvard, then they get to the Sweet 16 easily.
Stacking.
Yeah.
I'll shave off my entire beard and my head if Harvard stays within 10 of North Carolina.
Making it Sports Lounge official?
Will Stacking shave off his beard to do the same?
No.
Huh. What a shame. What a shame.
15. How about 15? Would you do it then?
Whoa,
No.
beard. You don't have a beard, though, goddamn you. What are you doing?
I got the chin strap.
Christ.
Anyway, I think that the Fighting Roosters of Coastal Carolina will give Wisconsin a bit of a fight. No, I'm just kidding. Wisconsin breezes through to the Final Four. I think they'll be able to top Arizona. I do like North Carolina. I think that Wofford's going to give Arkansas a bit of a scare, but I do like Arkansas's athleticism a little bit more. Baylor could be a team to watch out for, but no, it's Wisconsin out of the West.
I always like Xavier.
They win games in this tournament.
Good. Marcus, any different?
I believe it was Charlie who had North Carolina, Arizona in the regional final. Is that correct?
That's
So
correct.
That is correct.
And I will take Arizona.
Did you listen to anything I said?
No, I did listen.
Oh, that's what David had.
I'm doing some research here, trying to look up for my.
I'm just glad you're not taking Wisconsin because that'd be all four number one seeds, you fucker.
Well, I'm sorry. I really want to pick Coastal Carolina to beat Wisconsin.
Good. All right. Now we're on the same page.
Because Coastal Carolina, I think they said it on the actual show. Not that this is the unofficial selection show, and there's also an official show. I don't know if you guys knew that, but they mentioned that Coastal Carolina might be one of the best 16 seeds ever. I really hate Wisconsin. I don't have the balls to actually pick the upset.
Coastal Carolina, Teal.
And Teal.
Yep.
So, I'm yelling for no reason. I'm gonna pick Wisconsin to at least. They're gonna play North Carolina. North Carolina will beat Wisconsin. And of all the teams in the bracket that there may be some teams that you're in our words hard for. And Arizona, since I was a kid, has been a team that I have really liked. Also Kentucky. I have something for Wildcats. And so Arizona.
That's why you're not allowed back into the zoo anymore.
That's right. They don't let me near the Wildcat pen. So Arizona going to the Final Four.
Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Is there a game that you really like? Because I look at this region, and I really like a potential North Carolina-Wisconsin game. That's a big-time game for me. Any potential games? They can be first round games.
I always like it when they have different styles too. The different styles come tournament time is always fun. Seeing how they play off each other and you can get the advantage.
Depends what style is for me, but I'm inclined to agree.
I think VCU Ohio State in the first round, and potentially VCU Arizona in the second round. Both those could be pretty fun.
Iowa State Duke Elite Eight. That sounds like fun. Stacking anything? Any game you get you excited here?
All right.
I mean, I'm interested in Michigan State, Virginia. Michigan State, see if they continue their hot run. And Dayton, Virginia, Sweet 16. See if Dayton can do what they did last year, get to the regional finals again.
I think in the round of 32, if it projects out correctly, I think Davidson Gonzaga could be a hell of a matchup. I like that one a lot. I think Villanova, Northern Iowa. I'm hitching my horses to the Northern Iowa wagon, and I'm taking them into the Final Four. So that one to me could be a very interesting matchup. And as you mentioned, the matchup from last year, Michigan State and Virginia, certainly could be intriguing. Plus, on the Midwest side, Notre Dame against either Wichita State or Kansas. Take your pick. That's going to be a great game.
And that Wichita State-Kansas game, which has been mentioned, I believe that's Charlie's favorite game, potentially.
Yep.
All right.
In Omaha, which is close, but I won't go to it. But we'll wish I would have, maybe.
Yeah. Looking at your Cinderella specials, Charlie, go down the line here. Do you have a team? I've mentioned two teams already. 9 seeds or worse that could win at least 2 games. Your pick.
Mine has not been mentioned yet, and it is, I'll be honest, it's a school I know very little about. I know more about them football-wise than basketball-wise. It is more of location and a complete lack of faith in the team they're playing. I like Eastern Washington beating Georgetown in it's either in Portland or Seattle. I think it's in Portland. And then beating either Stephen F. Austin or Utah in Portland, and saying, hey, we got a red turf, and we're going to go to the Sweet 16 in basketball too. Like I said, most of that is a lack of faith in Georgetown doing anything come tournament-wise.
I like that pick. Drew Almond.
You know what? I'm on the Dayton wagon. I think there's 3 more wins for the Flyers. They will beat Boise State, they will beat Providence, and they will beat Oklahoma. And elsewhere, I like Stephen F. Austin against a struggling Utah team. I don't think they're particularly strong 5. And then you've got, I don't think what is a strong Georgetown team. So then maybe SFA only needs to beat Eastern Washington. So that's how Stephen F. Austin wins 2 games. I don't know, but those are my 2 picks.
If it happens, that's always my favorite. The handful of times you get both a 5 and a 4 getting upset and having the 12-13 second round game.
Yeah.
Marcus.
Fun fact that aligns with Drew Almond's Dayton pick is that we've had 4 years of the first 4, and in each of the 4 years we've had one team go to the Sweet 16.
Oh, goddamn.
Dayton, a good pick, but I will take BYU.
God damn it! You son of a... That's what I get for going last. That's my fucking... God, you
Deal with
dick.
it. Deal with it.
You asshole, Traxler.
3
You're an
games,
asshole.
16. I'll do that. Also, just down the list here, Wyoming. Considering I've hitched my wagon to Wyoming all year, might as well push this cart 2 games further. I just want it to happen. Also Buffalo. Wyoming and their awful colored uniforms, piss and poop. And then Buffalo. I don't like West Virginia, and they can beat Maryland or Valpo. So
now wait, do you not like West Virginia the school or West Virginia the state? Because this got me in trouble before.
no, I like West Virginia the school. I like West Virginia the state. Thanks for giving us all this terrible coal all these years. And I like Bob Huggins. Always 2 steps away from either getting fired or laying hands on a player.
Heart attack.
I don't want to say UCLA or Texas. I think those are ones that kind of stand out as being UCLA is not going to beat Iowa State, I don't think. Texas very well could make the Sweet 16, and I'd be okay with that, similar to what Schottenkirk said earlier. So I think that's it for me.
Okay.
Buffalo needs to win to bring the Max some respect.
That's right. And one more thing about Buffalo is that they feel like a team where, because they got a named coach, Bobby Hurley, they've first time Division I that they're going to the tournament, and they feel like a team that's going to have a great first weekend, and then they're going to meet Kentucky in that Sweet 16, and it is going to be a disaster.
Okay, who the hell are you?
Who are you?
Stacking.
Yeah, well, you know what? First team that jumps off the map to me, Davidson. I think they have the best chance to make it to the Sweet 16 out of any double-digit seed. But as has been mentioned,
Stacking, did you see Davidson play yesterday?
What?
They
Did you
started
see Davidson
off.
play yesterday?
No, I didn't.
They started off like gangbusters, and then the Commonwealth said, "That's enough of that." So, but I do like Davidson's style of play. A bunch of 3-pointers. That's fun to watch.
I think Davidson can do it.
Well, Steph Curry. I like their chances.
He's back.
I am picking Stephen F. Austin over Utah and Eastern Washington over Georgetown in at least one bracket. So one of those double will make it to the Sweet 16. Overall, though, I think I'm going to take.
Here's my 7 brackets. Here are the games I may pick.
Stacking over under 4.5 brackets you fill out this year.
I go under.
Well, I'm going to fill out like 5 on ESPN, probably 1 on Fox,
Yep,
1 on
that's what I thought.
The more brackets you fill out, the better chance that you get every game right.
It is a custom. It is tradition. I'm filling out 1, 2,
Put your pinky in.
3. There we go. 3
Flashing gang signs.
I don't know how this machine works. I don't know how it works.
Come on, get it up here. Anyway.
I'm pretty sure you just flashed the gang sign. You might get shot later.
You
Do you have a Raiders? Do you have an Oakland Raiders starter jacket in your closet?
Did you know? Another fun fact. This is what I'm bringing to the show.
Fun facts with Traxler. Do it.
There's 9.2 quintillion possibilities for your bracket.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch.
It's a lot.
Yeah, you don't pick those playing games right. Your perfect bracket's done.
There you go.
I'm sure Stacking will do about 5 trillion brackets.
No, I won't. I'll do less than a dozen.
I just the group of bracket ruling. This is what I do. Like I'll have the same champion and Final Four teams and probably the same Elite 8 teams, Is it okay if I fill out a second one mostly from memory, and some of the first-round games between like 6 and 11 seeds are different? Or do I have to bring my one bracket with me everywhere?
Okay,
that's
completely the same.
That's the best.
I'm not filling out 12 different brackets here. I will fill it out on multiple sites. I'll use the same bracket for multiple sites. Is that allowed or no?
No.
Oh, yes, but as long as it's the same one, but you're going to do
Right.
5 different.
Just can't be 12 different brackets.
No. I will probably fill out at most 4 different brackets.
It's 5
One
too many.
bracket in the sports lounge.
Well, in the sports lounge, you pick your best.
Yeah.
In the sports lounge, you pick your best bracket, and you
Yep.
send it in.
Bring your fucking A game to the sports lounge bracket contest.
But if I'm doing one for like the sports lounge and one for Yahoo, do I need like every 6 and 11 and 7-10 game to be the same?
No.
Okay.
Feel free to mix it up.
No, I'm giving you all shit. Pick whatever kind of bracket you want. I may do a mascot bracket. I haven't decided if the mascot bracket is going to be like a physical altercation between the mascots or which mascot I like more.
Or pick where you want to go vacation, because I can't tell where I want a vacation more, Northern Iowa or Wyoming.
I'm sure Traxler blows load over the New York Times or whatever it is. The blind bracket, I'm sure.
Yeah, well,
Traxler
Wall
will do
Street
that.
Journal. Get some.
Wall Street Journal, there you go.
If we're going mascots fighting, I don't know who wins it all, but it's going to be really tough to beat the Spartan from Michigan State.
Gonzaga has been a top 2 seed on 2 different occasions, says the TV. They have lost to 9-seed Wichita State and a 10-seed Nevada. So
This is the part where I remind everyone that I picked that Wichita State Northern Iowa game.
Gonzaga.
That
was good. That's a good pick. We'll come back to this. If you want to boast and brag, any upsets that you picked back in the day, 8s beating 1s, 12 seeds making the Elite 8, whatever the hell. Think in the old box. Schottenkirk, tell us why BYU is going to be so well, or if you have another double-digit seed, your Cinderella of sorts.
I won't be like stacking to give you 5 or 6 maybe or ifs or if this happens or plays out this way. I'll go with 1. I'll go with BYU, even though the Tracks are kind of stole my thunder, which is all good.
Right.
Offensively, a very good team. Ole Miss and Dayton, if they get past that, playing a very overseeded Xavier team, and then looking through the rest of the bracket, if they get past there, potential matchup with Baylor, and I don't have Baylor making a deep run, so I'd be fine with them. Kyle Collinsworth is one of the most underrated players in the country. He's got 6 or 7 triple doubles this year. A very good player. If they get warm from deep, they'll be something to contend with. And since I'm all in on this Gonzaga team, I have to give BYU some credit too for going to Gonzaga and beating them a few weeks ago.
So David, his team is BYU. Marcus, your team is BYU.
Officially put me down for Buffalo, but I also like.
Oh, what the fuck?
Fine. Can't I have 2?
Yeah, take Bob. You were making fun of me for taking a shot on Bobby Hurley last night. Now you're going to enjoy when West Virginia gets beat by 20 because Buffalo ain't winning that fucking game.
So your team is Buffalo, is this right?
I'm picking Buffalo Young University.
Okay. Charlie, if your team was Eastern Washington of the ones that you said, would that
Correct.
be the Mr. Amon? Is Dayton your squad?
If it's only 1, Dayton, I guess.
Dayton and Stacken, was Davidson your team?
Yeah, what the fuck? I'll go with them.
Okay. All right.
That's confidence.
Real confident. Bet the
I,
mortgage.
I'll go. I'll double up with
I'm
Drew.
applying for one tomorrow, so that can't be bet yet.
No, I like Dayton and Davidson, the D&D boys. Dayton, more so than Davidson, although I like them very, very much. So those are our upsets, specials. Trivia question time.
Nice.
376 schools have made the NCAA tournament.
I gotta go. I might be right back.
Name all of them.
All 300?
No. The real goddamn question, or a slight delay here for Mr. Traxler to go do whatever the hell he's got to do. This Christian Leitner 30 for 30. Any interest in this? This seems like an hour and a half. This seems like one of the better ones on paper.
I'm intrigued. I'm probably going to watch it.
I'm sure this will be, they did one on Michigan a few years ago, and Duke was a big part of that, so I'm assuming this will just be more Duke stuff, Christian Laettner specific, but that Duke run in the late 90s, UNLV and such.
I got to be honest, I'm not all that interested. I feel like this could be one of those 30 for 30 shorts.
Oh, really?
Rather than the full length thing. The Michigan one, to me, is still the best one that they've ever done. Maybe I'll catch it some other time, but probably not tonight.
You said you had Wichita State as a 9 seed defeat Gonzaga. That was 2 years ago.
Yes.
Is that your best pick that you've ever, best upset that you've ever had in the brackets, or any other ones you'd like to share?
I think, like in the sports lounge era, I think that's probably the one I remember most. Of all time, I can't really recall. I know for sure I've had double-digit. I've called maybe a double-digit seed making a run once or twice. That Gonzaga loss sticks out the most for me.
Okay.
I don't believe that I have any, or at least I don't remember any all-time great ones in the sports lounge era. The only one I can think of off the top of my head really worth noting, it's similar to picking against a team I didn't like. I had Northwestern State beating Iowa when Iowa was a 3 seed in I don't know, that was like 05, 06, 07, something like that. Now part of that was I just didn't like Iowa, and I was going to pick them to lose probably regardless of who they played.
They brought up their BPI here, this ESPN made-up system, and they had Florida 34th in the country. They're 16 and 17. I'm not sure they qualify for the 16th or the 34th best team in the country with a sub-500 record. Stacking, any upsets that you'd like to share throughout the history of time?
I was always a big fan, what was this, about 10 years ago, of Winthrop. And
I called that too!
When they beat I had picked Winthrop the year before, and they didn't come through, but I said they would beat Notre Dame, and they did, so I was high on that. That's a good one. I picked Vermont over Syracuse some years ago. That was one of my crowning achievements in the March Madness bracket. And I did a few years ago pick Cornell to the Sweet 16, and I made a bet with someone for an additional $10 that they would beat Wisconsin, and they did. So those would be my top 3.
How much money did you make on that bet?
$10.
Did you report that to the federal government?
Yes, I did.
Did you? All right. David, any upsets in the past?
Yeah, my biggest one was just a couple years ago. Believe it or not, I took Norfolk State to beat Missouri when they did.
Oh,
mainly and only because I was so convinced Florida was going to beat Missouri if they won that game. So I said, fuck it, I'll take it, because I didn't like Missouri at all. And it turned out for me, and Florida did make a run that year too. But that's probably my crowning achievement.
That was the 15-2 game?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's probably the winner then. That's the best one.
Yeah.
Although Drew's is different. Drew's is impressive because it's a 1 seed going down in the second round. They're both plenty impressive.
In fairness, that Missouri team was one of the most overrated 2 seeds ever too. So.
Mine would have been 2008. I had 10 seed Davidson with Steph Curry. They beat Gonzaga as a 7. And what a stunner! They beat Georgetown as a 2. I did not have the balls. I did not have the balls to take Davidson to beat Wisconsin as a 3. But then Davidson goes to the regional final, loses to Kansas by 2 points.
True story here. 2 years ago, when Florida Gulf Coast was the 15 seed and upset Georgetown, I had Florida Gulf Coast in all of my brackets, and I changed it before the game started because I didn't want to lose that point to everyone else.
Who the hell they play?
What?
Who they play? Duke? Was that?
No, they played Georgetown.
Oh, Georgetown, Jesus
and
Christ.
I just couldn't bear to possibly fall behind by a point because you never know when a point's going to matter.
It's one goddamn point!
I know, but I had Florida Gulf Coast in every single bracket because I liked them so much more over Georgetown, and it just couldn't do it. So that's my claim to shame.
That would have showed some stones there.
Yep.
Oh.
Speaking of former Big East teams, I'm kind of disappointed this isn't the patented Pittsburgh top 2 seed, so you can't say, hey, let's have Pittsburgh lose in the second round.
Every goddamn time.
I miss Pittsburgh. Where did Syracuse, just for shits and giggles, where did Syracuse was 68 RPI, 18-13, so they would not have gotten in either way. So good year. Shocking how that happens.
Yep, good time. Good time to say we're not gonna play in the tournament.
A 10-year investigation. We'll say this is the year. But we don't do it. So good. Trivia question regarding upsets. It looks like there's been 22 different schools that have pulled a 15 over a 2 or a 14 over a 3 upset. 22 different schools have done this. We'll start. Charlie, Drew, Stack, and David. Name one of those schools, last man standing, gets a photo of Marcus.
Yes, can't wait.
Photo.
So starting with me.
Charlie, a 15 or a 14 seed that has won a game. 22 of them, apparently.
Florida Gulf Coast.
Florida Gulf Coast as one of those teams. Amon.
I'm going to go with Hampton.
Hampton. Fucking Hampton.
That was going to be my safety one for later.
That's where they picked up the little coach and shook the little coach.
That's right, Iowa State.
Up in Boise, I think.
Yep.
Nathan Stacken, Summit League jacket. Do me something good.
I want to be ballsy here, but I think I'll wait with this one. I'm going to just take a Norfolk State.
Norfolk State. Schottenkirk picked them. David.
Ohio.
Ohio did it. Yes. Charlie.
Northwestern State.
They did that as well.
My turn?
Yes.
I'll go with Bucknell.
Bucknell. Stacken.
Lehigh.
Yes, they beat Duke. David.
Harvard.
Harvard. Yes. Charlie.
Coppin State.
Coppin State is a team.
I'll go with Chattanooga.
Chattanooga did it. Stacken.
Mercer.
Mercer as well, a team. David.
Richmond.
Richmond did it twice. Charlie.
I'm kind of out of ones I remember, and now I'm into guessing range. I will probably incorrectly guess Bradley.
Bradley. Not on the list. Amon.
I am pretty much at the end here. Go.
All the 15 seeds have been set except one, I think.
I'm gonna go with go Arkansas, fucking Pine Bluff.
Nope.
Goddamn.
Remember that. Remember Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Always will.
Stacking to stay alive to prevent Bruno Sammartino from winning this thing here.
Santa Clara.
Santa Clara on the board. And Stacking, the last 15 seed. I believe we all have 14s left. There's 4, 6, 9 of them. Stacking and Schottenkirk. Again, head-to-head. David.
Almond, you were close. It was Arkansas Little Rock.
Boom. Remember, not Pine Bluff. If you would have fucking pulled out Little Rock from your ass, that would have been
an all-time great sports lounge moment.
It would have been.
Beat fucking Notre Dame too, so it was even better.
Stacking.
Oh shit.
If you get this wrong, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, me too.
Considering all the shit you've said tonight, I'm going to be real pissed. If you go out with this team on the board.
I know
I
exactly.
said a
what
lot
you're
of
talking
stuff
about.
on this show tonight, so
I've got the team on lockdown. If you can't figure it out, Stacks, you're gonna be doubling.
And I want David to win it with this team if you don't get it.
Harvard was already said, so I can't do that one.
You cannot do that one. Yes.
Well, if I know what I've been talking, Northern Iowa.
Yes, Nathan.
Ooh! God damn.
Good job, David.
East Tennessee State, Arizona, on there a couple times.
East Tennessee State won a game. Nathan. 6 left. Also, another team you should get all the shit you've talked for the past week or two. You should get this team as well.
For the last week or two?
Your boys.
I have a lot of boys. I have a lot of homies, so this isn't helping me out a whole lot here.
I think it is.
I'll be equally
Murray
as to win on this.
What did you say?
Murray State.
Hell yes. Good job. David.
Now we're back into before I was born, but I did look at these a few weeks ago. Cleveland
He's
State.
has an advantage on us.
No, and I fucking remembered some of these random ass schools, so bite me and stacking. Kriens is giving you the last two, so suck on it. We'll go Cleveland State to keep me in it. No more helping and stacking because there was one more I know, but other than that, that might be shit out of luck here.
4 more left. Nathan Stacken gone farther than anybody could have thought.
I should have remembered Cleveland State. There was a great college basketball game I remember playing circa like mid-2000s, and you could start at like a bad school and work your way up, and I always started at Cleveland State. And when push came to shove, forgot about them when it mattered.
Go Vikings. Stacking to stay alive. We're down to 4. We're down to the final 4.
They don't like it. Valparaiso.
Good, solid goddamn guess. No. David for the win.
No one said Xavier yet, have they?
Xavier's on the list.
Beat Charlie's Nebraska squad in like I think 92 or something.
91, it was a 89-84 win. You got 3 schools left. Anybody?
Is Weber State one?
Yes, it is. Carolina. Yes, good job. 2 more. One of them. Nope. Close. One of them happened in 1989. They beat Stanford.
That was Siena. I knew that one. Yep.
And this other school beat Illinois by a point back in 1987.
Oh, that's from your from the OVC. I can't think who it was though.
Drew mentioned this team earlier in the show. Said Murray State can't be beaten up on blank and blank. 2 months.
Shit. No, Austin P.
Austin P is the team. So those are your teams that have pulled the biggest upsets in the history of the NCAA tournament. So as the schedule, we got the schedule here for when these goddamn games are going to be played.
I haven't seen it yet.
What do we
Is
got
the
here?
first game a mediocre 7-10 game at noon?
Better not be. It does not
It seems
appear-
like it's always some really crappy game first, and I sit down and I'm all excited, and then after about 10 minutes, real time, I'm like, man, this isn't a great first game.
Yeah,
But
usually
I guess they want to save the good ones for at night.
those 11 a.m. starts. They don't have the times, but they do have the days. And I've said this in the past. Usually, it just seems like one of the days is better than the other. The first day, you have Kentucky and Villanova playing the 2 seeds. Xavier versus a play-in winner. Iowa State plays. Carolina plays. This is the first day. VCU, Ohio State. Butler, Texas. Baylor, Georgia State. Eastern Washington upsetting Georgetown. The first day has 2 5 seeds. So they've done pretty well of evening this up. So first day seems okay. So you got a couple 12 seeds in there. You got Georgetown losing. You got Butler, VCU. So Should be a good tournament. True TV. You can watch True TV for the only time all year. Yes. Mr. Yes.
For you. Who's going to score more points, Georgia State or North Dakota State?
Georgia State.
Those Georgia
Who's
State.
Georgia State play?
Baylor.
Oh, they'll score. Yeah, they'll score.
They didn't score today, but they'll score against Baylor.
Yeah. Pitiful performance by North Dakota State. Any thoughts as we wrap up the show on the Summit League tournament? A good title game. Title game seemed to be at least very close. Wasn't a lot of points scored, a lot of excitement towards the end. Mr. Amon, your thoughts on those final 10 seconds? Marshall drives, a ball out of bounds, call reversed to North Dakota State. Lawrence Alexander fouled, misses the first shot, Larson rebound, Parks 25-footer, ball game.
That was a regrettable last possession, that's for sure. And I think, let's see, the Bison played well.
Oh, hang on a second here. I'll let you go. I just saw South Dakota State got Colorado State in the NIT. Are you fucking kidding me?
I would assume Colorado State would be a fairly high-ranked team.
Holy ballsack. That's going to be murder.
Where's Minnesota? Where are these brackets? Is there a ESPN News got to have them? Where is it?
Yeah, it's on ESPN, but somebody just tweeted that Colorado State's got South Dakota State. That's no good.
Bucknell, Temple a 1 seed, Roll Owls. Would you have called a timeout there, final possession, because Larson, nobody was near him? What do you do?
I think I'm okay with Nagy saying to let him play it out. With NSU, I guess we have a good defense, so let's get them when they're unorganized, I guess. But the Jacks were completely rattled in that moment, and I think they, in that moment, wanted to have a play ready. Instead, Parks throws up a really tentative three-pointer that didn't have any chance, and that was it. And no chance for a putback and anything like that. So it was just an awful, awful last 9-10 seconds. And the Bison played well for maybe 10 minutes, where they kind of had low on offense. That was the game right there. And I was surprised that the Jacks lost. I really honestly thought that they were going to win by quite possibly double digits with the home crowd, and they've been playing well. I think they're a little bit better team than the Bison are. And there you go. Instead the Bison get Gonzaga in Seattle, and the Jacks get Colorado State in the NIT.
Mr. Stacken, you said that Parks and Marshall, two best players on the team, could not play shit at the same time. They did play like shit, though.
And Reed Tellinghusen. You cannot have those three guys play as bad as they did. DeAndre did start to come around in the second half, but I would have still called timeout in that last 10 seconds. The Jacks only needed to bring their B game to beat the Bison, and they brought their C- game, and as a result, you lose by 1. It stings. They should have won. I think they are the prohibitive favorites to win next year because they're only losing Cody and Zach. So I think that they will win the Summit League next year, but truly a regrettable game. They should have won. There was some terrible officiating, but when Reed and DeAndre and George don't hit shots, they aren't going to win games at all. It doesn't matter who they play.
I would just say, regardless of whether they should have taken a timeout or not, it would have been nice if they wouldn't have settled for an off-balance 25-footer with 2 seconds left.
Yeah. You're down one with 7 seconds left to get the rebound. It would be good to drive towards the basket, get a foul possibly. Where'd you rate this tournament overall, Mr. Stacken? One of the better ones, one of the worst ones you've been to, somewhere in the middle. Attendance figures, 60,000 people showed up.
Attendance figures wise, obviously, as you mentioned, record. New arena, so it had a different feel to it. It didn't seem quite as loud, but I don't think that's because the fans weren't cheering any louder. It's just how the acoustics of the arena are set up. It wasn't the best. I wouldn't rank it in the top 2 or 3, but I don't know if I'd quite rank it as the worst.
Yeah. Was last year the worst?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we could put that there. Yes. Well, okay. In terms of our cheering, who we cheer for, yes. I'm just thinking overall in terms of the tournament results and the play. I can't remember quite sure, but there were some games that in this tournament that were just like, ugh, difficult to watch.
Now, there were some brutal basketball games in
Yes.
this tournament.
Yes.
The NIT apparently is going to experiment with a 30-second shot clock this year.
Goddamn. Really?
So we'll see how that works.
I'm a fan.
So we'll see how South Dakota State does in the one game they will play and see how that affects things.
Apparently, women's Division II NAIA basketball has a 30-second shot clock. I did not know that until recently.
Everybody should probably have at least that low of a clock. 35 seconds? Probably too much.
Wednesday, 9 o'clock. That's Central?
Yeah, that sounds right.
So Wednesday at 8 o'clock your time?
Well, I'm flying to South Dakota Wednesday night. So I don't
How
know.
close is Colorado State to where you are?
About an hour, Fort Collins.
Would you have gone to that?
God damn, quite possibly, yeah. Shit! It sucks!
Them's the breaks. Them's the break. Well, you can when you go back and they're in the Elite 8 of the NIT.
Yep.
Just wait when they're in the Final Four so they can put it on their official website. Colorado State's in the Final Four, even though they're not even remotely close to the Final Four.
Yep.
You got Connecticut and Temple. I haven't seen the bracket here. I need to find one of these. No, UConn, Temple, SDSU, Colorado State. Murray State apparently didn't get a 1. Minnesota, are they in this goddamn thing? I don't know. So some teams there, defending national champs in this deal.
How about this shit? Alabama just fired their coach and they're going to have a home game in the NIT on Tuesday night. How about
Fun.
that fucking apples? Jeez.
Fun. Okay, here we go. We got Old Dominion apparently a 1 seed. We'll call it the Old Dominion Quadrant. They're facing Charles Southern. So Charles, part of that there. Charleston Southern. Live results from the NIT. I thought that the crowd stacking on Tuesday night was just fucking ferocious.
Yes. Yes,
Also,
they were.
Illinois State a 4 seed, Green Bay a 5 seed. Mark that down as an upset. Go. I thought this crowd was just absolutely out of their goddamn minds. They hate each other. They hate each other so goddamn much.
There were a lot more Bison fans than I think had been anticipated, but that's because Bison fans only come when they know they have a chance at winning something.
There was like 500 of them.
There were more than that.
No more than 1,000.
Still more than I thought. They had only brought like 3 rows of fans the first 3 nights, so
Yeah.
it was still a little surprising to see that many people there. And
For the men's side of the tournament, were there more North Dakota State fans in the finals or USD fans in the semifinals?
I thought USD fans.
yeah, that's
Because they had a section pretty much of the...
Vermilion's only an hour away.
I mean, it was still 10 to 1. Still 10 to 1 crowd. 10 to 1.
Yeah, the crowd was very well. They had every reason to be because the officials sucked ass.
They did take out the straws, sucked it up. Yep. So they got everything they wanted. USD and SDSU men and women played, and the NDSU men played in the championship versus SDSU. So good crowds, good times, had by everybody.
I can't believe that the best teams got to the championship. That never happened.
Stunning. 2 points. Also,
Nobody happier than Mr. Duple.
he had to change his pants multiple times. UTEP at Murray State, and also Tulsa versus Bill and Mary. Your 2-7 games. ESPN 3, I'm sure, will have all of these. Just the idea that there was that quote in the paper that the NCAA guy came on. What was it? He was there Saturday morning, right before the tournament started. And he said that they support the games. It's not the SDSU games, which is not true. The SDSU contingent had the highest level of attendance in every session and every game. There were more SDSU fans for every game, regardless of who played. So in that sense, it's true. But this is every conference tournament ever.
Yep.
Without SDSU, this is all of them where there's 500 people in attendance.
Yep.
And they're lucky to have a team that people care about and will fill it up with 7, 8, 9,000 fans.
Yep.
This is a one-team tournament. This is. We know this, but I'm surprised that they're kind of like, well, you know, the other schools bring a couple. NDSU doesn't bring shit. They brought 500 people. USD brought like 500 people. They don't bring anybody. Because if it was USD, NDSU in the finals, SDSU would still have the largest crowd. So this is, for whatever reason, SDSU goes nuts for these games, but they are far and away the only reason why you get more than 1,000 people at any of these. So there you go. Drew Alman will be in town.
Right.
Real quick before I sign off here, we gotta make fun of Stacking one more time. Just for something. You didn't happen to see any of the golf today, did you?
Any of the what?
Any of the golf tournament today?
I saw Jordan Spieth won. I was going to mention something to you on Twitter.
I
He's the
appreciate
rising
it.
star in the game. I understand
Yeah,
that. I am not quarreling with you on this. I know
Who did he beat in the playoff? Who did he
I
beat
don't
in the
know.
VJ Singh. VJ Singh.
Whatever the fuck it is open. So
VJ
I don't
Singh.
care.
He beat another rising star, Patrick Reed, in the playoff.
Oh, was it that Japanese guy?
No, Patrick Reed.
Okay, good. Two
Yeah.
good young stars in the game. That's
And
good.
they're Americans, just like you requested too.
Good.
We don't
Good.
Patrick Reed's an asshole shithead. Is this right or?
No, fuck no.
Keep it local.
Good. There you go.
There we go. That's good. I'm glad to see Jordan Spieth won the tournament.
I was halfway kidding. I know I'm not trying to get you riled up, but I figured I'd mention it just because I do find it kind of funny. He's not even 22 years old yet, and that's his third win in the last 5 months worldwide. So.
Well, your buddy defensive end Leonard Wilkerson can have some.
Wow.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Very
Leonard
good.
Williams, I know.
Very good. Bill Wilkerson doing it up well. More NIT breaking news. UC Davis will play Stanford. Rhode Island will play my Iona squad. And St. Mary's v. Vanderbilt. So a stacked NIT. So yeah, Summer League tournament was good. Amon will be in the country in less than 48 hours or so. 72 hours make that. Plans for Mr. Amon. Probably head up to softball.
I'm going to
More NIT breaking news here. The Gophers didn't make it, so Trax is going to drink himself to sleep.
Wow.
CBI.
Yeah, CBI, here we come. Good Lord.
Nice. Amon.
Schmeckfest Friday night, which is the first evening of the NCAA tournament. So I'm going to miss a little bit of the games there. No big deal.
The fuck is this?
Huh?
The fuck is this?
Schmeckfest.
In fucking Freeman.
Fucking Freeman.
The fuck is this?
Yeah, yeah. My
Is it a
friend,
Chislik-related event?
it's actually not. It's German. It's a German festival. And
Oh, no.
Those damn Germans.
one of my friends is in the community theater, the production there. So I'm going to go see him do that. I'm going to watch some basketball with you folks. And
Oh.
pretty much that. Pretty much that.
There you go.
There we have it.
What, Thursday night?
Wednesday night I fly in, so I'll probably miss the first half of that Jack's Colorado State, melee.
It will be a melee.
Yeah.
So we'll get together. We'll do a Sports Lounge Extra from somewhere in the Tri-State region.
That's right.
Head on down to Rock Rapids, Iowa. Do it there.
Here we go.
So, yeah, 2 hours in, you can all watch the Christian Leitner deal. You can fill out your brackets. Stacking can watch the replay of the golf on the Golf Channel tonight. So,
All 47 brackets, too.
there you go. Stacking, give me a plug if you want to join the Stacking Bracket Challenge. What should the people do?
You just need to, I need your email address to send you an invite. If you are in it from last year, just go to cbssports.com, log in, and then it's under the bracket, the bracket challenge group, March Madness Tourney Bracket Challenge.
I'll be damned.
Fill it out, $10 a bracket. We are. I shouldn't be broadcasting that actually, but.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, there's a prize for first, maybe a prize for second, third, fourth, and fifth. So we look forward to doing it. Schottenkirk's getting in on it this year. Kriens as always does it. Mark is doing one. So Charlie, Drew, you're more than welcome to. Just shoot me an email address.
The electronic mail address.
Yes.
There you go. And does Mr. Schottenkirk have any bracket challenges of his own?
I do not have anything set up right now. I'm kind of in the mix of trying to get home here in the next few days. I've been gone for 10 days. I'll send you something tomorrow. I'm sure I'll have one. I usually have between 70 and 80 brackets, so we'll get it going again.
Also, a reminder, Spurs are playing the Timberwolves now, start of the fourth quarter. Spurs 93, Timberwolves 63. So.
Good Lord.
There you go. Also, Denver and the Pelicans in 2 overtimes. 50 seconds left. Denver's ahead 114-111. So.
Goddamn.
Goddamn.
Anthony Davis almost has a triple-double in that game with blocks being one of the stats.
He's no Russell Westbrook with those turnovers. He's no Russell Westbrook. So that'll do it for Mr. Traxter. We appreciate the minutes that he gave. For Mr. Schottenkirk, for Drew Amon, for Charlie Hildebrand, for Nathan Stacken, I'm Shane Koob. Next week, the 110th edition of The Lounge. We'll break it down. We'll see how Temple did in their NIT run, as well as we'll see how Eastern Washington, Davidson, Buffalo, and BYU did in their upset bids. All double-digit seeds ready to make the Sweet 16. So for this edition, we'll see you next week somewhere inside the lounge.